On Wednesday, we found out that President Joe Biden is getting set to nominate an anti-choice conservative to a lifetime judgeship. This is a week after the Supreme Court gutted Roe v. Wade and numerous fundraising emails and promises from Democrats that we're going to protect Roe v. Wade. We're going to protect the right to an abortion any way we can. Just send me $15 and vote harder in November. Okay, if we do all that, are you actually going to do something? No, we're not. But we are going to send you more fundraising emails. Great. Now, Biden did this, promised to do this, by making a deal with Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. I'm sorry, Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. It almost feels like he is in the majority. It almost feels like Republicans are in charge, even though they're technically not. So now Biden makes this deal with McConnell to appoint Republican anti-choice lawyer Chad Meredith to a lifetime federal judgeship in Kentucky. Now, Meredith is a Federalist Society member, and he is known for defending a 2017 Kentucky anti-abortion law requiring doctors to perform ultrasounds. These are incredibly invasive ultrasounds that are not medically necessary, but nonetheless, this law was defended because what they wanted to do was force women to look at ultrasounds of their, unborn fetuses. That's it. That's what they wanted to do. I guess to try to shame them into not having an abortion. So medically unnecessary transvaginal ultrasounds. That's what this guy defends. Okay. So now the Federalist Society, that's one of their judges. If that sounds familiar, it's because they're the ones that have handpicked every single Republican Supreme Court nominee that voted to overturn a woman's right to choose. Now, Kentucky Right to Life has praised Meredith. The group wrote a 2020 post on its website that it's been very impressed with attorney Meredith's abilities. Quote, he represented Kentuckians in numerous legal cases brought to against the pro-life laws passed by our General Assembly during the Bevin administration. Now, there is a caveat to this story, which is interesting. There are actually no current judicial vacancies open in Kentucky. But so he appoints them to a position that isn't even open yet. Now, the Louisville Courier does report that the deal is in place for as soon as one opens. So that's very interesting. Now, again, since this is supposed to be a deal with Mitch McConnell, you would assume that the Biden administration is going to get something in return for promising this judgeship, right? Well, here's what McConnell has promised. He says, well, if you give us this judge, then we're just not going to block any of your judges. Wait a minute. All right, so for one, I got to ask, what's the point? The conservatives already have the Supreme Court. You already have the Supreme Court. Donald Trump, during his administration, packed as many judicial appointments into the court as possible, with the help of Democrats, by the way, because they wanted to go on vacation a little quicker. Yeah, they had to go and fundraise, Oh, yeah, look, just let them go, just jam all these guys through, and let's let all the Trump nominees through. It's totally fine. Let them go. Rubber stamp. I got to go on vacation to the Hamptons. Now, that, of course, played right into Mitch McConnell's hands. And look, and I say that because he's been very open about wanting to take over the judiciary for a very long time. In fact, back in 2018, during a Federalist Society dinner, or gala event, whatever, he described this goal is to do everything we can for as long as we can to transform the federal judiciary, because everything else we do is transitory. Now, I think that's really important, right? Because he's kind of right. These federal judgeships, these appointments are lifelong. And you can see the type of damage that the Supreme Court, which is lifelong appointments, have already wrought. And look, this has been a plan for a very, very long time. And they've been doing this, for example, under both Bill Clinton and Obama. Republicans blocked most, if not all, of their judicial appointments, waiting for the times that they would get into power so that they could fill all those open seats. And so they got that chance in 2016 when Trump successfully appointed 226 Federalist Society judges to the trial, appellate, and Supreme Courts. I got to tell you, man, that is a supremely crushing long-term victory. I don't think people quite understand on the left how successful Republicans have been in taking over and really changing the face of this country when it comes to the legal system. Okay? And by the way, that also translates into a lot of success for Donald Trump. You go and ask a conservative, a MAGA supporter, what's the biggest victory for the Trump administration? And they will tell you the Supreme Court. And they'll tell you, if they're smart, which, again, ironic. I hate saying that too. But generally, if they know what's going on and really believe in the conservative movement, they'll tell you our judicial appointments, the fact that Trump got so many judicial appointments as well as Supreme Court appointments, yeah, his presidency was an absolute crushing, great success. Great success. We've done everything. We have changed the face of the judiciary for at least a generation. And that leads to long-term wins and, of course, the rollbacks of a lot of our rights and a lot of rules and protections for average people, working people, women, people of color, LGBT folks. They have won. And so, well played. Well played, Republicans. You have had the biggest upset in American history, decades in the making. They played the long game and they won. It's paying off because either the Democrats did not pay attention, or worse, they were complicit because they were getting, at the same time, they were getting rich. But the most frustrating thing here about the Biden administration is, again, at least on this topic, is he didn't need to make the deal. To make these appointments, all you need is a simple majority in the Senate. Democrats currently have a simple majority. That's it. So what this tells me is a couple of things. Number one, that fellow Democrats like Manchin, Sinema, they couldn't be counted to vote with the rest of the party. Okay. Then why is the Democratic establishment protecting Joe Manchin so much against primary challengers if Joe Manchin doesn't vote with the Democratic agenda at all on the issues that matter? And number two, I think the most damning here, at least in the short term, Joe Biden expects to lose the Senate. He doesn't expect a blue wave. He doesn't expect to retain the Senate. And of course, that matches a lot of the polling that comes out where Biden is tanking badly and Republicans are expected to have a gigantic red wave and to retake the Senate and to retake even the House, leaving Biden to be a lame duck. Although, really, I can't really see any the Biden administration being that much lamer than it already is, honestly. And so, look, in pure Democratic fashion, he knows he's going to lose, and so he's already given up. That means he's not going to do anything to try to get people to turn out in the midterms. Already their message is, vote harder. Vote harder and send us $15. That's it. That's their entire plan. Just vote harder. That also means he's not going to put pressure on Joe Manchin to pass parts of his agenda. Oh, but you understand, we're in talks right now to revive Build Back Better. No, you're not. No, you're not. And not only that, but again, they're not actually going to do a carve out for voting rights when it comes to the filibuster. They're certainly not doing that for abortion rights. In fact, Manchin and Sinema say, no, we are not, absolutely under no circumstance are we going to do a carve out in the filibuster for abortion rights. And so not only that, but he's also not going to do things that he already is able to do through executive orders, like cancel student loan debt. Biden is losing massively among young people. Young people are massively saddled with student loan debt. If he decides not to cancel student loan debt, then why the hell would any of these younger people turn out to vote for Joe Biden or to vote for Democrats in the midterms? Why would they? Oh, but Roe is on the ballot. And yet, you're appointing anti-choice justices, doing deals with Mitch McConnell when you don't have to. And that same Democratic establishment, Nancy Pelosi, Jim Clyburn, were out there stumping and defending Henry Cuellar, allowing him to beat a progressive who is pro-choice by 239 votes. They went out there and they stumped for Cuellar, who was pro-gun, okay, anti-gun control, even the most modest gun control measures, and anti-choice, voted against codifying Roe v. Wade. So that's what they're out there doing. That's what they were doing. Do they actually care about abortion rights? About reproductive rights? No. They don't care at all. They don't care at all. And so, again, he plans on doing absolutely nothing and letting Republicans take over. That's the plan. We're going to do nothing. And then maybe, we'll put some appointments up for judicial nominees. That'll be very centrist and pro-corporate, probably. And we're going to hope that Mitch McConnell keeps his promise. And that's the other problem that frustrates me. And look, the only thing that could potentially keep McConnell's promise intact to not do unprecedented obstruction, right, is the fact that there is no open seat yet. So, theoretically, Biden could rescind that appointment if Republicans decide to block any nomination. But that's assuming, of course, that he would be strong enough to do that. Because the way that I see it happening is, oh, Biden, sorry, I know I promised not to block your judicial appointment, but I really didn't like this person because, you picked him or her. And so I'm not in favor of that. But then Biden would think it would be incredibly rude to, rescind that nomination of that justice. Oh, but, Mitch, I made you a promise. Can you pretty please think about, allowing my picks to go through? Please, pretty please. All Republicans have to do is say, we'll think about it. And then think about it all the way until 2024, where Trump comes in and picks the most extreme people. Or Ron DeSantis. This was a terrible move. If you still believe Joe Biden is on our side, no, he's a conservative. That's why we didn't want to vote for him in the Democratic primary. This is why we wanted to vote for a progressive. Instead, the establishment pushed Joe Biden on us and said, hey, look, we know Joe Biden sucks, but do you want Trump? Do you want Trump? because you're going to get Trump. Well, we're probably going to get worse than Trump next time, which is exactly what we've been warning the whole time. And again, he's conservative on abortion rights. Again, he's a Catholic. He says, I've grappled with that. I've grappled with my faith. No, he's personally anti-choice. In 2006, he told an interviewer he did not view abortion as a choice and a right. Then you say, oh, but he evolved. He evolved. Has he? Has he? At this point, when you hear him talk, I don't believe a goddamn thing he says. All I believe in is action. And so far, the actions that Joe Biden has taken on this issue, or also inactions, because those also speak loud, the only things that we've seen on all that is Biden not being on our side at all.